So my name is Catherine Piper and I'm from Mangawhai in New Zealand and I am 47 years old. Originally I'm from Britain.
Oh really?
Yeah, so we immigrated here when I was 3. So I'm a Kiwi kid really. I went to Mangawhai Primary, Howick Intermediate, Howick College. Yeah, we came from Derbyshire and Dad wanted us to come over here because the land of milk and honey. He wanted us, I come from a family of 3 girls and he wanted us to have fresh air and open spaces and beaches and sunshine, and I think in the 70s New Zealand was a really good place to immigrate to. I think it still is now. We did go back when I was in the later years of primary school. We did a year over there. My mum got homesick and so we sold up and we moved back, and then work was hard to find and we were living in a house that was just rows of houses and there was nowhere for the kids to play, and they very quickly realised that the grass was definitely greener on the other side and they'd made a mistake, so then they sold up and moved back again.
Is that a tree that you're wearing around your neck?
It is, yeah. Yeah, I bought this in Mangawhai. I am a nurse and I work in I worked at the time in a little medical centre in Mangawhai, and I spotted this in a shop across the road and took my fancy, so it's
beautiful.
A tree of life. Yeah.
It is, yeah, it's a beautiful tree.
I was a little bit of a rebel and got pregnant quite young with my first child, Sarah, and then Joshua came along a year later. So I had 3 children by the time I was 21. Stayed with their dad, so we've been together for over 30 years.
Well, congratulations, that's
Thank you, it's a good
achievement.
story. Yeah, good story. And he's a good man. And I was working at a special needs school, which was fantastic with the young children because you got all the school holidays off, like I was telling you yesterday. And my hours were really good, so I started at 9 and finished at 2:30, so I could get them from school. Did that for 8 years, and very high needs children. And probably there was almost like a nursing aspect to it, so they were quite keen for me to do a teaching degree. But I kind of felt in my heart it was more about caring, and so I sort of went down the alley of, well, what's the caring thing in me, the caring role, that sort of nurturing side, I suppose, that I've got, or that I like to think that I've got on a good day. So I went to Manukau Tech and I had to do a pre-degree. I did a year pre-degree and did sort of all my biology and maths and English, because I didn't stay at school long enough. I left school I was probably out of school at 14. I hadn't done very well at school. I found school really difficult. I think probably had a little element of ADHD, if you wanted to label it. I just found it really hard to concentrate. I don't think I was lacking in intelligence, but the environment of being stuck in a class didn't work for me. And so, I even remember being in quite a bit of trouble in the latter years at primary school with the head teacher telling me that I was not going to amount to anything because I was just always in trouble. And because I was active, I was better climbing trees or, at the beach or outside rather than shut up inside. So yeah, it just sort of was a pathway of, being disruptive in the class and ending up sitting outside of the class most of the time and actually not doing anything. I was very rebellious. So if an adult told me I had to do something, I generally wouldn't. And I think the final crunch was I got in a bit of a physical fight with a deputy principal possible. And my parents were called in and just sort of told that it would be, I'd be better off working rather than school was a waste of time for me. I got a job at Manukau City Council mowing lawns, and I did that over a summer, and then I fell pregnant. So I was 16 when I fell pregnant, and then that was that. I became a full-time mother. Yeah, now look, when I got pregnant, I mean, there was a lot of talk about, not keeping the baby. And my rebellious streak was like, no, I'm going to have this baby and I'm going to do a really good job of it. You just watch this space, So that was my goal. And I got involved in play centre, and I was a good young mum.
Yeah, it sounds as if it gave your life focus.
It did. That's exactly right. Actually, when I was pregnant with my daughter, we were actually squatting in a condemned building in Cockle Bay. These big flats that we came home one day and there was like skull and crossbones on the door, and all our furniture had been thrown out the window. But we lived there in a big group. It was a real party house for a good year. It was about a year we were there. And so we were a bit wayward, and my husband came home, my husband now, because we got married after our second child. He came home and I had this new baby. And am I allowed to swear? He said, we can fuck up our own lives, but we're not going to fuck up this baby's. He says, I'm going to start going to church. I want you to come to church with me. So we started going to church. So there we went, and I sat at the back of the church with my baby and thought, whoa, what's going on here? Because I hadn't been brought up as a Christian. My father's an atheist, and my mother's scared of God, I think.
But a believer? Because if you're scared...
Yeah, she's a believer. But she was treated badly by a very religious sort of woman when cause she's got an interesting story. She was born to a mother in England who had 2 girls, 2 different fathers, not married either time. Mum has no idea who her father is, and so she's got her own wounds and scars from that. And then there was a very religious aunt or something that got them thrown out of the grandfather's house, and so I think Mum sees God as a lawmaker and a scary, stern God,
punishing.
With rules, and I just love forgiveness. I just love that actually, it is impossible for any of us to be perfect, and none of us can be Christ-like. We can strive for that, and it's always a good thing to strive for good stuff. And God knows us, and He loves us, and He loves us as we are, And I've sort of come away from that happy clappy, the flash band up there playing all the really good music and everybody looking really clean and tidy and good, and I think it's sort of moving almost into a very worldly sort of sense, that the whole materialism, and I just want something a little bit more real. I want to be able to be honest, I want to actually say, life's hard. It's really hard, and you want to do the right thing. You get up in the morning and you pray to do the right thing, and you pray that God will lead you, and I know that He's got His hand on me, and I know that He's looking after me, but I can't be good, pure, He has to be that in me, because I can't do it. I'm looking forward to something way better than this.
Are you?
Yeah. Even though I know I love this, don't get me wrong. I love creation. I love the sea, and I love trees, I love the garden, I love animals. But I just see the cruelness in it as well, I see the cruelness of life, the harshness of life.
So you think there is a space beyond this
Absolutely.
physical self that
Yep.
you're going to
I'm
reach?
banking on it.
You're banking
Yeah.
It's probably an unfair question, but how do you imagine that?
How do I imagine that? Oh, I imagine it to be so amazing that it's just like we can't imagine it. It's bigger and better and more and just free and light and, no pain, no harshness. I don't know whether that's fluid. I mean, who knows, but it's just, it's going to be light and freedom and home, like really home. My main focus in life is family and the people that are around me. When I drive to work, I drive about 35-40 minutes to work, and I pray on the way to work, and I pray that I am all that I can be for the people around me. That, my patients that come, because I'm a nurse, so the people that I care for, that I am enough for what they need at that time, that I'm a good team member, and my grandchildren and my children are just like so valuable, it's not funny. And if I can invest a lot of energy into, that's why we're here, we're here camping to invest time into each other and care for our children and bring that next generation up with goodness and kindness, and the little 3-year-old's learning not to kick the little 1-year-old, and that's important, and there's discipline involved in that for him. There's boundaries that need to be set, but there's also who is he, and he's energetic, and so he needs to kick the ball around, and we need to move him out to the sand and build some sandcastles and occupy him. He's 3, and I just want to be available to help the young families out to do that well, because it's hard work. And yeah, I love community parenting. I think extended family, and I think that's so precious.